So this is 30 years or more since I've been back here, and it's really remarkable to see it. Still a very beautiful setting, as you can see, tucked up against the hills here. Yeah, it worked, especially in its main purpose, which was to move away from the Kickapoo River and prevent any more of those existential floods that hit this town on average every 10 years. The Army Corps of Engineers came in and offered to put a dam on the upper Kickapoo. It turned into one of the most controversial and the largest public works project in Wisconsin at the time. And a lot of people opposed the dam, a lot of environmentalists, a lot of people in the valley thought it was salvation because these are all economically depressed communities, very, very poor. And they thought something like that would bring a lot of business into the area. But what we decided to do, the Corps decided as part of that project to put a levee around Soldiers Grove. And the people thought that really wouldn't work. They'd seen floods that were so ferocious, they didn't think a levee would stop them. So we proposed instead that the Corps spend that money and help us move to higher ground. A lot more communities are going to have to look at this. There's been about 30 whole town relocations since 1970 in this country. But right now, because of climate change, both sea level rise and extreme precipitation events, the floods are getting more severe. They evacuated it, and you're allowed to, under federal law, if you're using federal funds, to turn that land into parkland or some green space and never develop it again. So the park can flood, and it does, but it's minimal damage because they've got recreational facilities that are just very easy to fix. Yeah. There was an old theater here, movie theater, but I think they may have done live productions too back in the day. But all the seats, it was boarded up and all the seats were covered with silt. It had never been fixed since the last flood, and it wasn't used at all. And my newspaper office was right next to it. There's nobody doing business here or living here who's ever going to have to go through another flood. And the kind of floods they had here in the Kickapoo Valley were traumatic, life-changing events, and certainly economically damaging events. It had a lot to do with this town's very low income level, its impoverished level, and the same for all the towns along the Kickapoo River. It's hard to thrive and attract businesses in a town that has major floods periodically and repetitively. So I'm very glad to see this town liberated from that. On the other hand, there's a little bit of nostalgia, you know.